wholly unjustified and brutal invasion of Iraq. I mean, of Ukraine.
Wars have been fought over oil. In a short matter of time, they will be fought over war.
No, the 22nd of its name, ManCon. You know,
that's right.
No idea what to do at this point. 22 of them. We've already passed drinking age. Soon our podcast will be able to rent a car.
Yeah. Pretty soon we're gonna celebrate because we got beer and didn't get carded.
Yeah,
that's a few years down the road, but like it's gonna.
It's like the worst part of my life. Like, come on, man! You want to? Hey, I'll pull it out for you. I'll show it to you.
You don't want to see it?
Yeah. No. Oh, the white hair. Yeah. No. I can. People in 20s get white hair, my friend. Come on. Get in there. That's not my
please.
Please. Oh God. No one ever told me life was going to be this way, you know?
Yeah.
Just hurtling towards nothingness. It's amazing.
It is. It is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of hurtling towards nothingness, man, kick.
Oh.
Again, just that one video that we were just talking about and didn't finish on, when you never fuck with a man's hat. It's crazy.
Well, and true.
Yeah.
And we should say, hi, I am former bouncer and and workers' rights enthusiast, Marcus from leftlegfits.twitch, twitch.tv, not kick, but also on the YouTube channel for Left Leg Fest, and then here as ManCon.
Nice. I am also former security and regular worker out in the field in most ways, Lucid Fox on the Twitch and everywhere else.
Which
here we are.
I don't even know where, with some of the stuff we were talking about, and yes, do not touch the hats.
Never.
You know what I'm saying?
You never touch those guys' hats, man. Like that's one thing you got to understand.
And it will say, hey, for the most part, people are just at work. And most things, most people at work are just trying to do their job. There's a 10% of everybody.
Yeah.
Don't touch the hat. The hat, you know what I'm saying? Don't touch the hat. Because in some ways, the security guard is also like a cop. In which case, they kind of wish something would happen.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Absolutely, they do. Yeah.
And damn, if someone didn't reach the security, the doorman Hall of Fame with the Superman off the stage.
Man, that punch was so beautiful. It was crazy to watch, actually. I'm just I thought for a second, I was like, surely this is out of a fighting game or something. He just dives into it,
yes.
God.
Yeah. Because that's those things where it's you talk about it with your friends,
Yeah.
Well, if someone did anything here, I would do this, that specific scenario had been discussed amongst the bouncing staff in that bar for as long as that place has been open, or at least since they built the stage. But yeah. Workers' rights, you know what I'm saying? Stay safe out there in the nightlife. That means keep your hands to yourself.
Yeah.
Until you get consent to do otherwise. And that is with the person you're trying to rizz up and the security staff as well.
Man. Yeah. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. But that's again, like I told you, I was watching a 2.5 hour video of how these, that's just it. That's how they just interact with the world now, with blatant disrespect for anybody. And it's it just takes one person, man, that's just having a bad day, you know, especially these bouncers that, like you said, are just looking for a reason to just manhandle somebody. You know, it's like, hey, not all bouncers, but you know,
well, that's
all
like,
bouncers not bad. There's a lot of bouncers that are just trying to fucking live their lives, you know, but there's some bouncers, man, that, you know, retire from the force and are just still, you know, still mad at their wife. And
that's where, you know, someone said like the new Roadhouse was good, but I really don't feel like I need to see it now. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I got all the Swayze that I need. But yeah, as far as I've seen some, like, there's just really wild content. I don't want to feel like that old guy, you know what I'm saying? Oh, the kids these days. But I don't know. I feel like we've gone like a long way from like, who's that guy? Like Tom Green? Right?
Yeah. Somebody was referencing, or, you know, you can also reference, people used to reference Jackass as well. But like this is so much different. Like, again, a lot of that shit they were doing kind of to themselves. Or Tom Green had, even Sacha Baron Cohen lets people in on like what's going to be going on as he's like kind of wandering into situations, you know, just like these kids just kind of find themselves like there was one where I saw Jack, I don't even know his fucking name, Jack something or other, Barlow, who knows. He wanders into a Walmart and just starts harassing like minimum wage workers, and it's like, brother, I don't know how to tell you. I'd like to throw you in a fucking oubliette.
Well, like, and that's where the thing is, like, go bother somebody at the exec building of Wells Fargo. You know what I'm saying? Like this is where too, because it's like, it's not like you shouldn't mess with people, right? But like, there are people who most people will not have a problem with if you mess with them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, go mess with this, like the people at Kroger that said, we're going to raise prices because we don't give a shit. You know, go find that guy and do some nonsense around him.
If you go fuck with rich people, I promise you'll have everybody in your corner. Okay. Like,
really. Go find some landlord convention and like do literally any of that. You know what I mean? Like do that all in there.
What are we doing where we're just like wandering around, you know? Yeah. Just fucking with like regular people trying to like earn a living, you know, like.
And I mean, that's the thing too, is like you talk about Walmart, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's upsetting because these people they deserve so much better than to have any piece of shit teenager bother them, let alone a piece of shit teenager doing it for clout. Well, and that's why too, I don't even want to say piece of shit teenager, you know, because like this is like I feel like it's like a boomer mindset for me of like, oh, these people doing this, but the creators or whatever, right? That the people that are doing it, these are all age groups and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? The idea of like just messing with people, it is so prevalent and built into what is entertainment, you know, and like I hope. Like, if there's anyone in any other country that they like listen to this, like, what's the point of this? Why would anybody do this, right? Because it just seems it's really you know, I don't know, it's just messed up. You know what I'm saying? It's just really messed up, and yeah, you could literally do some of these same antics at a landlord convention, and I'd buy you a beer,
right? You know what I mean? Like, hey. Listen, you want to go fuck with like people that absolutely like deserve to be harassed, you know, and build a fucking following off of that. Like, sure, build an entire like movement of like kids that just like go around and like harass rich people. You know what? I'm on board. We're only one step away from just doing that instead.
I'm starting a bail fund and going to law school to defend you in court.
Yeah.
Like what? Like,
I think the best way can assist the movement. You know, if you start doing that,
like,
but
please,
you know, again, you just like kind of wander around and fuck with like, you know, regular people trying to like. There's one where he's like in the, you know, he's in the mall just fucking with like the massage people in the mall, and it's like, god damn, man, just like. Find anything to do.
And that's where, like, I think there's even just into like branch down to like social media and stuff like that, where like the idea that there's like this open marketplace of ideas is like so absurd, right? Because like there's a certain modal that people go through of you get to whatever like ideological influence of status, you know, and then most of whatever content is just propelling whatever nonsense you have and then picking the most unhinged comment from someone with like 30 followers, you know, they kind of doing that straw man type of thing. Right. And like, it's kind of this very like similar, just like punching down type of thing where you're always going to seem right by choosing the worst thing in your own comment section, you know, and then saying this is what everyone I don't like believes. And I'm smarter than all of them, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just like a very unserious way to deal with some very, very serious things in you know, in like some cases, right? Or it's just a very silly narrative that eventually whatever audience you're cultivating will find out that you are not actually intelligent or, you know, able to hold up in any type of, you know, raucous debate over whatever you believe, because, you know, that bubble bursts and you either have fans or, you know, and if you're not able to like keep that up, which like you just can't off of an unserious, you know, and, you know, a type of like mode of just going, I just believe this because I do. And I mean, hell, like you look at Candace Owens right now, and I think it's like where she is towards the end of it, where you can only reel for so long before, you know, you're going to whittle down that audience into some type of like weird creature like basement dweller that it's like no one else wants to know.
God, man. Yeah. I don't know. Content brain's so fucking wild. It's the terrifying idea to have the world. Well, you know, speaking of up and comers, you know, speaking of up and comers, how warm is it up where you are, Marcus? You know,
well, this is the thing too. You know, everybody's different, right? Some people are a little bit more susceptible.
Okay, well, easy, all right.
Certain natural aspects of our world. And universe, I should say. It's a little
you can say I'm allergic to sunlight. Yeah, we've been over it. It's terrifying to me.
Hey, and we do record on Tuesdays, okay? So the UK, like, just I don't know, like soak yourself in a bin, you know, for the next like week or so.
It's wild
because, and it's and that's where climate crisis. It's happening. It's with us now. You know.
Yeah, we're just starting to ramp up. Anymore. You know, the craziest headline that I saw this morning was it will be hotter this week in Vermont than Miami. And it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, man. What are we doing?
Huh?
What's happening? It's so cool, you know, like, and there's the weird people that are like, well, you know, it's been warm in June before, you know, like weirdo, like deniers or like downplayers or whatever. And it's like, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like with each year, we just like we ratchet that little fucking, you know, arrow up just a little bit more of what the irregular or average highs are, you know? And so if we just continue to do that over the course of like decades, where do you think that puts us? You know, like 20 years from now, where it's like, I don't know, it's always been 100 in June. It's like, well, no, that's actually not how history works. You know,
and the thing that people are not really like recognizing is that especially heat waves are the deadliest thing.
They are an effect of these like rising temperatures, you know, and these heat waves coming, like it's it's not summer until Thursday, man. Like, this is a summer heat wave that's kind of jumping the gun a little bit. And we're already going to see 100-degree temperatures, in the middle of June. Like, I don't know, man.
And the thing where, like, it is, and, where it is, this is a dangerous thing, you know? And anybody that if you've ever been into like athletics and that have gone through the summer,
man.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. This is something that you should have heard about from your coaches, where your body can only get so hot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And especially too, where like you get with humidity levels, something called wet bulb conditions, where, like, I am not a scientist. I am just, I'm a content creator that's not going to get punched in the face for talking shit. I can tell you that much. Right. But like it can be so hot that your sweat does not cool you down.
Yeah.
And once you hit that point,
that's it. You have to have artificial cool down or you're done.
Exactly. There's nothing you can do other than get into a colder temperature.
Yes.
Like there's just nothing. And I think this was last year, but it was like there was a cyclist in Arizona that got a flat tire. And once he stopped, he dropped dead within a minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only thing keeping him cool was the air, was like literally like the air and what like coming at him as he was cycling. And once he stopped, he was done.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, this is where the awareness, the knowledge, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, you like, there should be people in your community, like, who are able to like, hopefully access to a doctor, maybe, but these are things that need to be definitely like an awareness campaign should be pushed from governments at all levels,
That's what's crazy to me, honestly, is just people,
people are going to die. This is where it's like people who are not aware, of how hot it's going to be, or something like that. They're just going to end up like, elderly folks and disabled folks, people who can't afford AC and all these things. They're just going to continue to increase as these heat waves coming in and out, and especially in places like Vermont that have similar infrastructure, kind of like with the UK, where like these homes aren't built to, keep cool in a lot of ways, right? Those homes are more designed to keep heat in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the reverse. And like, so
what are you gonna do? Like, that's man, just one of our myriad like problems when facing like climate change. This doesn't even broach like the discussion over the past couple of weeks of just like the hurricane season that's shaping up to be actually insane. That's just on top of everything else.
Yeah,
that's just robbing you of the shelter that you would normally use to stay out of this rising heat. It's compounding events,
Yeah, and I if you got family in Florida, you know what I'm saying?
Not about to.
Start the evac plan yesterday, because I think, like Florida, especially, where like Texas obviously has a lot of issues, However, Texas seems like a state able to upkeep some of its like, processes a little bit better than Florida is doing.
Yeah.
Because like Florida in so many ways is just eating itself. And a lot of these are conservative policy plans, right? But once you overlap those with just a environment that creates an insane insurance type of policy type of thing.
Man, it is crazy to think about. Yeah. Just and insurance places pulling out, like.
Now now the hurricane season, that's going to be the worst ever. And I mean, I assume there's just going to be a massive land grab.
Yeah.
Right. There's going to be a huge amount of people without any insurance policy who are completely lost out, nowhere to go.
Honestly, what happens with that? You know, do people sell like whatever's left of their lot for pennies when eventually like these hurricanes just take their fucking house? You know, like what happens there? You don't have insurance, so you either get out or good luck.
Yeah, find a little freak guy with the white boots on, because he's a big reason why this is happening. But I and this is where, you know what I'm saying, like, I can't predict the future, but you could just, this situation, like the programs that are designed to allow people to get back into a house after the natural disaster, those things are, they're being burned away in the fucking wildfires, right? And like that's in so many different ways, just like as society in general, like not being prepared. But then as you get in these different pockets of the country, depending on those policies, is going to dictate, how much people lose out. Because no matter what, surviving, a hurricane is is a thing on its own. And then, having the support structure to, return to, a normal life or a semblance of that. I don't know.
Man. Just thought about the future for a second. Just zoned out on oh man. It'll be fine.
Don't do it.
It'll be fine. There's one thing. I've lived through a couple of hurricanes and different, I've lived in Virginia and South Carolina. There's one positive thing I can say about them. They do take a lot of trees with them. So maybe Texas will be all right if those trees swing the right way, they already have once. Who knows?
Yeah, no, that's what, like, my family's Jamaican, and like I lived in Puerto Rico for a bit, lived in North Carolina, so like I've been hit, nothing like any of these major ones though, like I've never had to get through one of those, but oh lordy, and the amount of new, right, like I wonder how many of these like conservatives that's like, I'm moving to Florida, right, who are about to be in for some shit that they never thought, like they,
Yeah.
Good luck.
Well, speaking of forces of nature, Joseph Robinette Biden coming in with a powerful, commanding 32% in Iowa, man.
It's Biden mentum.
I was right? There's a lot of liberal cope about Iowa, right? Because they're like, well, why even worry about Iowa? Because Iowa's not, they weren't going to vote for Biden anyway. And it's like, you're not wrong, but also this is the worst that any Democratic president has done in Iowa since 1924, man. In 100 years, this guy is doing the worst in 100 years. Iowa's a bellwether for the Midwest, man. We look at Iowa for rural voting trends in Minnesota, in Michigan, in all these places surrounding it. And those are your swing voters that you want so goddamn bad in those other states.
Listen.
Like, this is the worst in Democrat. Like, I don't know what to tell you. This is crazy.
In so many ways, I feel like someone like could write a damn like dissertation over like the political malpractice that is like the Democratic Party strategy.
Yeah.
Because, God damn it, hey, I'm sure those Nikki Haley voters are going to come around.
Those Nikki Haley voters are coming around, man. They're really going to, again, like, and I'm sorry, man, but you can go back, right? Like, Obama won fucking Iowa twice, man. So where have all those voters gone? And so then would it not lead that they would at least like go towards Biden? Again, this is your swing voters. These are your fucking independents. These are your people that you're able to sit around and persuade. You can't just tell me that over the past like fucking 12 years, Trump mania has taken over the entirety of the state and it's just unfucking salvageable.
Well, and
why is this guy doing so? Why is he underwater polling? Why is almost double digits for fucking RFK in this poll, man? On near 9% for RFK Jr. People would rather fucking swing voters would rather fucking have that guy.
Well, the thing that I did think was interesting in that was that, yeah, RFK was at 9%, and also, and like, for me, like I do buy good polls. I buy into good polls. Polling data it's like a scientific process. I think where like in, just generally, like not Rasmussen, but this is a scientific process that, like they are judged by the results, and like those processes get changed. 2016, there were like, we need to change the processes. Those things give and take.
Yeah.
The issue with the United States is that there is a plurality of non-voters.
Yes.
Like almost half or so, where it's like in the past few years it's been, but like, especially as you go between presidential elections and off season, right? About half of us don't vote at all. And what that means is that there's a lot of people, there's a lot of variation out there. There's a lot of potential variation. But what we see is that it's generally around 3 percentage points, right? So, but then that's where, with this RFK at 9%, his support, and so 89% of his support was still persuadable, at least as they were saying, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And I don't, this is where it's like, I can't tell you who this person is. You know what I'm saying? I can't explain in my head who this person is. But I got to tell you, Democrats, Joe Biden, you got to be off your rocker to try and go after these jamokes.
Yeah.
What could be the policy platform that you could prescribe that's going to have the likely RFK voter, but still persuadable? if they're at RFK, they're gone.
Well, I think there's a lot of, I will say, I think there's a lot of fucking swing voters that just are looking for another choice, and they don't care. Like, I think it does speak a little bit to like the idea of a less informed voter, that some people are just like, well, I don't know, like, I guess I'll pick this guy. I
agree with you. I
don't think that's always, but I think that does speak to a larger share of RFK voters than
I agree. Well, and that's where in my mind's eye, I see the person as like just saying, I am unsure.
Yes.
But like, someone being polled who is saying, I'm leaning RFK, they've already drove past the Trump and Biden stop. And they've already drove past enough to know, they're not in the, I'm still deciding phase. They've decided, in my head, they've decided those two are not it. And while I'm still, like, for some reason, still looking for some other option that may come up, even though, like, even like legally, like the, per even who could get on the ballot in enough states to get 270, electoral votes is close. You know what I'm saying? The door is shut. The field is there. But right, you said like uninformed voters, aren't going to be aware of that.
They're just something different.
There's just this vibe, right, that they're trying to find. I don't know, like there's not going to be a president that going to want to have a beer with. Yeah. Like, that's not going to happen, but kind of like a lot of these people, who knows, but either way, oh my God. Well, that's where there was some poll that was like Biden is doing the best with like the elderly.
God, man.
Yeah. And, I mean, yeah, that's the thing. I think that, especially I have no idea. People ask me who's going to win. I don't know. And I don't think anybody can know right now.
And I don't know. I just keep going back to these fucking numbers too. It's like, I think about like a 32 to 50 in favor of Trump in the latest poll. And it's just like, brother, that's a 12% drop for Biden, Like, that's crazy. You can say whatever you want about Iowa being more conservative these days, et cetera, et cetera. The numbers, like, realistic. Trump got 53% in 2020, if I remember. So the numbers aren't as great for him either, but the numbers are so much fucking worse for Biden. And it's like, what's happening, man?
Well, the thing that we didn't really even mention yet, and honestly, it shouldn't be necessary.
Yeah.
But here we are, is that this is post 34 counts.
I've been saying that. I've had a couple of people that are just like, well, I mean, people don't want to vote for a felon. I'm like, I assure you, a lot of them don't care.
It
turns out, again, a lot of people in this country, and we can get into how they find a solution to this, but a lot of people in this country, you and I included, believe the government does not intrinsically work for them and instead is against them in some form or fashion. All right. And so the logical leap for most conservatives then is to say, well, then the system would obviously be against my chosen candidate as well, up to and including trying to put him in jail. Those fucking memes are in their minds. Even in reality, they're not after, they're actually after you. I'm just in the way type of thing. It's like, for them, they can sit down and really envision that, they're like, this is the guy that's stopping them from coming for me. And he would take that bullet and get it in a conviction of his own. 34.
And well, the thing that I've always thought was funny is that like, he both says, I will free the January 6 hostages.
Yeah.
And then in the next sentence is like, if they come after me, then they might be able to get you.
Yeah.
They got a few of them. But no, that's the thing where it's like, you're 100% right, where it's like that projection of, especially of solidifying the idea that, these are two, and political ideologies that are really in some side of battle, and like and that's where in some cases you end up going to when people talk about like going to the extremes. Oh, the party ends up sliding to the extremes.
Yes,
I think that's true, but both parties are sliding to their extreme right.
Yeah, I mean,
like both parties are leaning right, and yeah, like for the Democrats who think, oh, hey, they're gonna want to, shift our way. No, that's not actually how
that's not how any of this works. I'm sorry, but like. You maybe caught some of them in a vulnerable moment when they're polled and they were like, I don't know. I guess again, because when they say convicted, it means beyond a shadow of a doubt, this guy is a fucking puppy killer. Okay. They don't think to themselves, well, I don't know. They pinched him in New York on like, the processes that were not followed in paying hush money to somebody. It's like, I'm sorry, but you cannot pick like condemning enough things out of that New York case to say this guy's a fucking vet. Find me the worst fucking thing that he did there. Like liberals can fucking touchdown dance all day long, but find me the worst thing that he did there, and it's like, oh, well, we finally popped. Like all rich people do this, Like we finally,
especially when they're like front loaded with like the Hunter Biden, all that type of stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
Listen, like I get it, Hunter Biden. I'd more likely vote for his ass than his daddy. Yeah, but at the end of the day, he's not running for anything.
Yes,
and that doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it because it's right. That's just the public perception that has been hammered so hard for almost the majority of this country that when they hear Biden, then that's just it. And they don't care about, and because the thing is, it's just the Democrats are incapable of actually reacting seriously to corruption.
Yeah.
You know, inside their party,
in their own
out,
ranks. Yeah, man.
Right? Like people like Bob Menendez had no business being a senator this long, especially one in the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
You know, Cuellar, like these are things where it's just like, what is actually going on for the party that points at the party that's supposed to be a law and order and screams hypocrisy?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like in that way, it's like there are a lot of things that are coming up where it's just like the Democrats, the fact that y'all lock shields around the worst of you, it doesn't give you ability to stand on business.
Yeah.
And this is where, too, is like going back to Al Franken, and then like people were like, well, why were they so easy to push out Franken? But, and it's just like, then you start getting into the politics of it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you start getting into the politics of it. It's like they were more than happy to get Al Franken out of there because Al Franken was causing trouble.
Yeah.
He was asking the wrong questions about drone strikes.
Yeah. Making us look bad, all right? Think about that. It's fine if you play ball and you also do a little corruption. That's all right.
Like, it can't. And this is where, like, you got to be able to do the right thing in the moment, and it'll save your ass in a crisis, right? Because the fact that Gold Bar Bob popped up in an election year is not good. Yeah. It's bad, actually.
Yeah.
And you lose the ability to say, we are fighting corruption and government this and democracy's on the ballot.
It really starts to pull away this, this believability, this pedigree you tried to build of the Democratic Party and how unimpeachable their kind of like positions might be. And again, I just get to see like, oh, well, actually, these guys are also kind of corrupt too, huh? Oh, well. That's neither here nor there for me. I'm a person that believes that all of our politics, are intrinsically tainted by neoliberalism. It should probably be destroyed from the ground up. But for the average voter, they're going to look at it and say, well, can't trust them either, huh? At least this one guy is pretty no fucking nonsense about things. And you can say whatever you want about him, but regular, uninformed, or, just rather undecided voters would be like, well, what do you want me to do?
And also, too, the fact that it's like you don't want to invest in public schooling. You want to allow, like people like Cory Booker.
Yeah.
You want to be one of these, charter school homies and stuff like that. Like, this is what happens where you don't teach people, like, not only to, like, you don't make people literate, you don't have an understanding of literacy.
Yeah.
How to go about life, understanding what is actually coming at you.
Yeah.
And like America, and it's like, I'm dumb as hell. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to talk shit and point fingers, but we've got a very, very ignorant ass population. And that comes out badly when we need to make decisions, and that's what it is. And from all these websites that they, the United States government is allowing these websites to lie to us and sell us fake drugs that get people killed, to influence kids to hate themselves and the way they look. Yeah. The government is allowing these things to happen. And when they try and say I'm the good guy, it's hard to sell that.
It sure is. Man.
Especially, and this is where Hillary Clinton, go away.
It's wild that she still puts herself in that business too. It's crazy. Speaking of election year, there is that. There is that, man.
Go away.
Yeah, no, backing the APAC candidate, you know, like the guy that they're pouring.
APAC candidate.
Yeah, like don't know why she still is in the conversation, honestly. Like, hey, listen, I'm not a big Bowman supporter or anything like that. I think his politics outside of foreign policy are much better than those in the House around him. I still think him voting for the Iron Dome is, you know, there's a lot of things that I disagree with foreign policy related on his voting. But, you know, overall, as like a guy, you know, in the Democratic Party, he's a far sight better than a lot of them. You know, like he's fine. He's fine. And I wish more Democrats were like him than they are right now. But I'd still rather not see him just fucking get, you know, sideswiped by tens of millions of dollars of APAC money. You know,
and like it is, and like, well, the thing is too, it's a disgusting thing for this like type of thing would even like be able to happen, like, and like the amount of APAC, and we're like once again, like this is the thing where like the Democrats should be in a solidified position to completely dominate the party running a convicted felon, rapist, with a Congress that has passed the least amount of bills ever and was the first to eject the Speaker of the House.
Yeah.
Like you know, I'm saying if you were just blind to the Democrats and just saw the Republican Party, you would think you could ride in ass naked with clown makeup on and still win this election. And yet, here we are. And you've got this entity, APAC, spending so much money to cannibalize the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
And you've got so many fucking Democrats just sitting there. Cheering it on. And especially in New York.
It's such a fucking disgusting machine state, you know, like just holier than thou. That's where you run up
the score.
Yeah.
You're supposed to, like, this is where it doesn't matter for the federal election, you know, for the president, but like New York and California, Democrats, that's where you're supposed to run up the score.
Yeah, but instead you're just putting in like the worst fucking succumbing to moderate like nonsense people you could imagine. Yeah.
A PhD should be written on the political malpractice that is the Democratic Party. And I don't know, like it's so crazy.
Yeah.
It's like they really don't even understand politics, whatever. Like they never even talk about it.
Yeah.
They're just going around like it's like a high school fucking dance. And they got cliques and shit. Oh, well, Jamal said something I don't like. Well, we're going to, I don't know, shove peanut butter in his locker then. Well, like, dog, you're on the same team. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, y'all, man, what a useless fucking, God, the New York political machine's so fucking useless, honestly. Like,
insane.
It is, you know, you asked me why places like Iowa have gone from like the third bluest state back in the 80s to now just being fucking hamstrung by the conservative party. I'll point to you the Democratic Party in and of itself, because even the places, like you said, where you're supposed to be running up the score, fucking sitting around experimenting on new ways to get fucking Democrats in these like conservative wedges. Instead, these people sit around every day. They walk in 9 a.m., they clock in, they get their coffee, and they're like, hey, Terry, clear my schedule. I gotta go huff fucking Joe's farts for the next 6 hours, all right? I gotta find out a way that we can just like be the absolute fucking worst to each other and do nothing to enrich the Democratic Party overall, nothing to sit around and try to like pump up our numbers. Just absolutely fucking winnow things away and allow people like George Santos, as funny as he was, allow people like George Santos just coast into easily won seats, you know? Just the most useless fucking party apparatus I've ever seen.
First of all, it's Pride Month, and how dare you?
We're going to get to Pride Month in a second, all right? We'll be back to that. But
how dare you?
Again,
no, of course.
Yeah.
It's really too. It's like, it's one thing if someone like slides into some like, you know, like school board seat and like turns out like, oh, hey, you know, This is this is the guy that's been like smearing dog shit on the fucking local schools for the past 10 years. You had no idea. But no, there's like someone who is like, he was, you know, he made it to Congress on like literally like lying about everything about his life. It's still a question whether his name is George Santos. We still don't know.
God, it's so beautiful.
Like, how did he like, and that's where it's just like the last person to have really any semblance of a 50-state strategy was what Howard Dean. Yeah, that guy.
Mr. Bia.
And the fact that like it's I don't know. I don't like. I really, it's just like I don't know. It's so hard to understand how this happens, or how the their thought process is. You know, it's like they're not cycling any reality into their thought process whatsoever. You know, they just watch the MSNBC and then Jimmy Kimmel, and then like they make moves from there. Because it's insanity. It's insanity.
Oh, speaking of functioning political apparatus. The Supreme Court, baby. Man, they have a bevy of decisions to finish out this month, and they have been taking on all of them in, the worst fucking way possible, except for mifepristone, the lowest bar they could clear. Except for that, where, I guess apparently, like, medication's not illegal yet. Good. Well, like, life-saving reproductive choice medication still on the table, right?
And this, because this is the thing, right? And, like, where... like the law is just like vibes in a lot of ways.
Yeah, man. A lot of give and take,
Yeah. And this is where the thing too is just like judicial review is something that is said to be, this is what makes this, the judicial system one of the, equal, branches of government, right? And there's the checks and balances. Yeah. Judicial review is one of these things. Checks and balances, right? But judicial review was something that the court itself made up.
Yes.
From a case. So this is something that is supposed to be, this is the constitutional job of the Supreme Court.
Yes.
Why wasn't it written down? You know what I'm saying? And I'm not like some founding fathers asshole. Yeah. But at the end of the day, the idea that the Supreme Court even does get to do constitutional checks is as solidified as Roe versus Wade.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It is just something that the court itself decided, and it is something that the court, I guess, could decide that it could undo. However,
same thing with the the latest the thing it started doing it last year, right? The different reporting and everything they'll do now for
the ethics.
Yeah, the ethics stuff. Yeah, same thing. It's just that is under the purview of the court. And if somebody like Alito tells you to go fuck off, well, sorry, you go fuck off. Actually.
Well, this is the thing is, if you choose.
Yeah.
This is a thing where Joe Biden, the Democrats, especially when you had the fucking House and the Senate, but hey, you got to love you some Mansion and Cinema, right?
Yeah, baby.
But this is where these are also choices. This is the choice of the Democratic Party to acquiesce to the Republicans having no vergonia when it comes to being goddamn judges. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
they had a couple of people with no vergonia. I get it. Yeah.
You got no shame. But yeah, and this is where they're, like Dick Durbin in the Senate and, Jamie Raskin in the House, or the Democrats are largely like kind of like quote unquote fighting. And it just boils down to writing a letter saying, please, can you either stop taking millions and millions of dollars in bribes, and or at least make up some new rules so it'll be tougher to do it in the future. And they just say, get fucked. And then what happens? the Democrats say, well, you got to vote. Vote for what?
Yeah.
Vote for what? How do you vote in ethics? Can I vote for ethics rules for judges?
Yeah.
Or are we just going to vote for a semblance of the legislature that will refuse to do it? And guns, though, on the other side of this is the guns and how ridiculous and bloodthirsty our own society is. You know, and this
I'm sorry, man. Like, I don't want to be too blue about it, but the Vegas shooter quite literally like ventilated like dozens of people with bump stocks, and you can make that case any way you want, but like it made it easier for him to just like carry out this fucking spree killing. And it's like, I don't know. I just think people shouldn't be allowed to regulate. Like, fuck you, man. Actually,
yeah.
God damn.
And and like I think it was sometime last week or like it was like the anniversary of the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas shooting, and they tore down the school.
Yeah.
And I do understand, but there's something that says about us.
Yeah.
We keep the guns and you tear down the school. This is not an acceptable way to run a society.
Yeah.
Like it's this should be really jarring, I think. They tore down the school, and not only did they keep the guns, you make sure they can still be just as reckless and dangerous. And like what's wrong? You know what I'm saying? God, what's wrong with it? Hello, world?
What are we doing?
International community, do you see what we got going on in here?
Yeah,
please.
we're not doing great, actually. Somebody should probably step in. I think we're really not doing it, It's feeling like a problem.
It's a problem. It's a problem.
But again, like to even suggest that the Supreme Court could hear this, like it's just it's so cynical. It's such a cynical look of the world where they're just like they just get to decide whether or not we can actually like ban the sale of these fucking things. These things whose express purpose is just make it easier to fucking mow people down. What other fucking reason can you ever make for these fucking things, man?
Yeah, and
I need him for hunting because I'm such a shit shot that I can't hit the fucking buck until the 14th. I gotta unload half a fucking round before I can clip his tail. Like what goddamn possible reason?
It's just deadly toys.
Yeah,
it's just like there is none. You know what I'm saying? It's just deadly toys, and like I don't ever like you're like, oh yeah, God, but like as someone who has gone through Marine Corps infantry training, there is no usefulness in a gun that is just spraying bullets that you can't even stare down the sights of the weapon system. Yeah, this is just to get more bullets to go out of the gun because of fun or murderous intent. But there's no, for the chud in their basement saying, shall not be infringed and I might need to defend myself. They live in zombie mode, right? They live playing reality in like this zombie mode. Because this is not anything useful for any type of defense, even in some type of combat scenario. Having an unaimable gun that's just going back and forth is not useful, actually.
Yeah,
and it's really gross that we live in a society where people come up with so many excuses just to have a toy attached to their killing machine gun.
Yeah, that's it. It's just a fun little toy. Yeah. Well, I might need. No, man.
No, you don't.
No,
literally, you don't.
Yeah.
You don't.
I just.
That's like, what type of scenario you get into, right? You don't actually, because like this thing is like, you ask someone what do you envision needing this to defend yourself?
Yeah,
and it's never that you.
Okay, now hear me out. If it shakes out like Die Hard 3, right, and I'm inside. No.
Well, what if it's the Black Lives Matter riots of WW3, brother? And their team of super soldiers are charging the gates.
Yeah, it's.
And I gotta defend this here Walmart with my last basic breath.
Like I just, and I've seen people like Ted Cruz try and like make this offensible. And it's just, I don't know. It's just so stupid.
And fucking asshole machine gun bacon piece of shit.
Yeah,
Ted
exactly.
Cruz.
Like it's just a complete like amosexual fucking arguments and shit. Like there's just no reason, man.
I swear to God, it's like that's the thing where it's like wrapping bacon around a barrel.
Yeah.
And then eating that raw ass, nasty ass bacon.
Yeah.
Looking like his pink ass face. That is what, like that, like this is what this is. It is just, I mean, like we talk about the content creators, right?
Yeah.
A similar thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just these people just
similar type of
public.
Freak, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you looking forward to? we got on the horizon. This silver lining, surely. Okay.
No, I do.
Is the Mavs losing? I miscast. This is my fault. I cursed them. It's okay.
Yeah.
The new owner's Zionist anyway. I'm pretty happy about it.
No one thought the Mavs were going to lose until you
they're favored to win at the beginning of the series, and then.
Yeah, people who favored them were not. I don't think they were looking at the freaking right on the wall.
Go to Vegas. I don't know, man. We all them.
Yeah, you're drunk, Vegas.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's your silver lining?
Wake up.
What do you got? To look
silver lining coming up. It's something that the Poor People's Campaign, Reverend Barber's got cooking up the Moral March on Washington.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm excited because. This is a working class, and in their like realm of like the progressive ideology. But I've been very impressed with like a lot of stuff that the Working People's Campaign it's kind of been doing to just even organize workers and in a non-union fashion, like having a good political vehicle for workers outside of the workers that are unionized. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
And that's about it because this is a clown world outside of that.
Oh, that's fair.
What about you?
I don't know. Metroid Prime 4 got announced today. That was kind of cool. 7 years, I've been waiting on it. Metroid Prime 4. Yeah.
Metroid. Yeah.
Metroid. Yeah. Plus they announced Marvel versus Capcom. That's something to live for,
Yeah.
Bringing back all the classics. Roll back neck.
They're going to make it woke though.
Hey, hell yeah. I'm down. No, in actuality, I don't know. It's been very hot and we've been.
Actually, I got to watch the new season of The Boys.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Apparently it's extremely woke, They're review bombed to hell. They cannot stand this thing. So
it's pissing them off.
It's crazy. They're making fun of me, brother. They've been making fun of you since episode 1. I don't know what to tell you. They're making fun of me. They had a whole fucking ass Nazi in a whole season, man. I don't know. I don't know what to say to you.
Yeah, it's like the gender reveal, right? You just see some dad like actually a girl. And it's like, oh, this is your child, actually.
It's crazy.
The same child that was in the womb 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. No, in actual silver linings, I don't know. the community fridges around Richmond. You know, it's been getting really hot. We've been going around organizing, filling them up and everything. So that's kind of cool.
Oh, and cool. Yeah. You know? Cooling stations.
Yeah. We drop in like Gatorade and everything in them. You know?
Yeah. Well, I would say, or for people who, if like getting into, it's like stuff like that. So like community fridges and stuff like that. Cause like that's where, right, of like that it's outside important. Source, a cold bottle of water, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And
people need that.
It's one of those things that can help. And also like looking at cooling stations in your area because just even people don't like, cause like if you don't got $1, but you can let somebody know like, hey, you know, they may be a house, but like, hey, you know, on this street, there's one of these cooling stations and stuff like that. I mean, you know, a lot of them, they have their own networks and shit like that, but just being aware and being able to advise people and like, hell, you might need to duck into one, you know, walking in between the grocery store and, you know, your car or some shit. Yeah. Keep up good work, man. We're doing it. We're going to make it.
And make this fucking world better or something.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know, next week we'll do it again. 23. Well, next week, who knows? Who knows where we can go from there?
I'm wearing my J's for 23.
That's right. Absolutely. All right. My guy. All right. Well, you know, everybody like, subscribe, click bells, or I don't know, whatever you're supposed to do. We'll be back next week.
Peace.